Greetings one and all, welcome to my kitchen here, and I'm actually filming this at night time because I'm going to be making some lovely traditional English style pork pies. But just to start that, I've got my pork components here and I want to just deal with them tonight and then leave them in the fridge overnight so they're ready to go tomorrow. So what I've got here is I've got 500 grams of pork mince. I've got 2 rashers of streaky bacon, and I've got here about 400 grams of nice pork fillet. Now the mince is obviously pretty well ready to go. What I need to do is cut up my fillet and my bacon into smaller pieces. So I've got my trusty meat cleaver here, and I'll get to work on that. Alrighty guys, so I've got that meat all chopped up now. So I've got my bowl here ready. In goes my mince. In goes my diced pork fillet. And same with my bacon. Now next thing I've got here is what I did, just to save time, I did it off camera, but I've just chopped up 1 onion, 4 cloves of garlic, and just give them a minute or two sauteing a little bit of butter just to soften them up. And that's going in as well. Right, I've got here 2 tablespoons of semi-dry parsley, and that goes. About the same amount of some fresh thyme, and it goes. And last but not least is I've ground up about 10 juniper berries, finely ground them up with about half a teaspoon of salt. And some white pepper. And that's all mixed up and it can go into, and that's going to be it for my meat mixture. So all I want to do is thoroughly mix that up now. Alright, so I've got my pork mix thoroughly mixed up now, and I'm just going to cover it, get it in the fridge, ready to use tomorrow to make our yummy traditional pulled pork pies. Alrighty, I'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty guys, so here we are next day. So I'm going to get on making some hot water pastry for my pies. So to that end I've just got here 2/3 of a cup of water just coming to the boil, and to that I've got here 170 grams of lard, and what we're going to do is just melt that into that hot water, and we're just going to get it up to a simmer without necessarily boiling it vigorously or anything like that. Alrighty, so in my bowl here I've got 2 3/4 cups of plain flour, and I've just added a little bit of salt, about half a teaspoon to that. So yeah, I'll just make a little well middle. I'm going to add my hot water and lard. Dump it all in. And obviously that's extremely hot at the moment, so we're just going to mix that up with our spoon for the time being. Alrighty, so once it's still quite warm, but it's I can actually handle it now. I'm going to dump it onto the bench. It'll just flour it slightly, and we're just going to knead that up. Alrighty guys, so I've just sort of cut my that pastry into roughly thirds, and I'm just going to put that in the fridge. I've covered it in Glad wrap, cling wrap, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to leave it rest for about an hour or so. Alrighty guys, so my pastry's been resting there for a while. Now, there's a method to my madness here, but basically I'm going to be making small pies. So each of these two thirds I'm going to cut in half again, and then the other one is going to be for my 4 lids. I sort of worked it out in my head, we'll see how we go. So there's one of my thirds, so I'm going to cut that in half. Get the other half back in the cling film. Right, now I haven't done this before, so let's see how we go. First thing I want to do is make sort of like a bit of a ball, and then sort of just pat it out. And then what I'm doing is sort of just using my thumb to make a bit of a bowl sort of shape. All the time pressing it down at the bottom as well. When you think the bottom's sort of pretty good, I'll just grab my tin here, and I've just got it's just a tin of curry sauce, doesn't matter what you got. And I will actually just put a little bit of flour on that. Up the sides. Pastry to go around it. And then just sort of form it up the edges. So yeah, I've sort of had a bit of a practice go with that first one. What's happening is it's sort of stuck to the side of that tin I was using, so I'm changing over. I'm going to try this bottle with this second one, and I'm going to do most of it by hand. I'll just use the bottle basically to mark out the base. So yeah, same thing, I'm just going to make a rough bowl shape. Get the bottle. I probably should have left this pastry in the fridge for a bit longer, it's still quite soft. But I'm eager to get on with this, so so yeah, just use the base as a bit of a guide more than anything. The bottle is a bit of a guide. And then pull it off. And then just use my hands to work it up. And as I work it up, I found I've just got to pleat it over a little bit to get it to maintain a cylinder shape. These are going to be so rustic it's not funny, which I don't know, I'm quite happy about that too. So there we go. I'll just set it on there, and what I will do though is once I've made the other two, is I'll get them in the fridge for a little bit longer, just in that form. Alrighty guys, so I've got those pie cases out of the fridge. I only had them in there about half an hour. So I've also got my filling here that's been also in the fridge, that's been in there overnight. So I've got thoroughly clean hands, goes without saying. I'm just going to take a bit of my filling, and all I'm going to do is mould it to a bit of a ball, like that, sort of get a little meatball full, and I'm just going to sit that in my pie crust, just push it down a bit, like so.